How's it going, everybody? My name is Mick and welcome to Boots On. Today we are going on a hike at Minnehaha Falls at Katoomba, New South Wales. Some people might call it a walk. I prefer a mini hike and I still recommend keeping your boots on for it. Chuck Taylors are not recommended for this hike. The start of the hike is nice and easy. The pathway is a little bit eroded and there is a bit of tree roots in the way that will cause a decent trip hazard if you aren't too careful. Another reason why I did not recommend wearing Chuck Taylors. But on your left hand side there are fantastic little views of the creek as you're walking past it, and including this nice little waterfall that we did pass right near the start of the hike. A bit further along you can still see nice little multi-layered waterfalls here. Not very big, but very picturesque and very beautiful to look at. At this part of the hike, it is still very easy to walk as the terrain is nice and flat, with the occasional tree root every now and then, but overall a very easy pace to go at. If you want to introduce friends into hiking, I definitely recommend this hike in particular to be one of those introductory hikes. There are a few sections where you can actually get nice and close to the creek and even take off your boots if you'd prefer and go for a bit of a wander in there and cool your feet off. This particular day was 32 degrees Celsius, so it was quite warm. Thankfully it wasn't particularly humid and had plenty of shade along the way. After a while, the left hand side of the hike starts opening up a little bit and it shows you the additional beauty of the area. Do be careful though, because around this point the path does get a little bit trickier than it was previously. And I'm not just talking about tree roots, there are sections where it does feel like it slides a little bit or angles off to the left hand side a bit, which is the section that's opened up. So just be very mindful as you cross this area. Where the terrain gets a little bit too touchy, they have installed permanent temporary fencing. That is a thing in Australia, where businesses and councils install temporary fencing for the foreseeable future. So don't worry, there are sections like this where they put them up for safety reasons until they either put something a bit more permanent or they work a different approach for this area. This is a section though that is quite beautiful and unfortunately did block a little bit of the view that we could potentially get from here, but I think safety comes first and foremost, so it's a small price to pay. Just before the switchback of the hike, you will find a nice area where you can actually get a really beautiful shot of the waterfall. It is a little bit far and it is a bit of a dangerous spot, so please take as much care as you can in attempting to get any kind of footage or photos from this area. There are some rather steep staircases at this point, so if you have brought your dog along for this, I wish you all the best luck because you're going to have to carry them over your shoulder. Large dogs are definitely going to be difficult in this part. As soon as you get past the switchback, you get this nice little covered area that you still get some beautiful views as you start descending towards the waterfall. The pathway at this point is relatively flat, so tripping is going to be at a minimal at this point, though does it really matter at this point? You're that close. Just before you get to the waterfall, the hike does get a little bit thicker, and you should be hearing that lovely sound from the waterfall coming at this point. I recommend starting your hike early, between 7 to 8, or even earlier if possible, to make sure you beat any crowds or groups of people that could arrive. As you can see at this point, we got here a bit after 8, I think it was closer to 9, and there was already a decent amount of people here. The waterfall itself though is absolutely gorgeous. Overall access to the hiking area is easy, though bear in mind if you are catching public transport, it is up in the mountains, so it does take a while to get there, and there's an additional hour's worth of walking to get to the start of the hike. The track was not too difficult. There are sections towards the end where the switchback are where you do have some very steep staircases that you have to be careful of, and just watch some trip hazards. Other than that, it is quite easy. The hike itself is also quite scenic, and there are some beautiful areas you can take some lovely photos of. Just be mindful of your surroundings and be very careful where you're standing. The overall length of the hike is actually quite short, probably no more than an hour to get to the bottom and about an hour to get back up to the top, so take it at your own leisure if you're an experienced hiker, or just enjoy the scenery if you're new at this. Special mention for this hike is recommendations, and the recommendation I give to you for this is get there early and make sure you beat the groups of people that tend to go a little bit later in the morning. So get there nice and early so you can enjoy it relatively free of anyone else. And that's it from me. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.